Welcome to the Practically Imperfect podcast. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Orson.
Orson, how was your week?
More like, how was your month?
Literally. Guys, we haven't recorded in so long. I don't even know when our last upload was.
It was the Christmas episode.
No.
Yeah?
So it's been like 3 weeks. Yeah, you're right. Wow. It's a long time. So what's our excuse? What were we up to?
I think the honest excuse is we just got lazy.
Mostly what were you up to? You were the busy one.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, I feel like the real excuse is we got lazy, and I got lazy because every time we record this podcast, obviously a big part of it are like posting reels and different things like that. So we like to have the cameras and the lighting and all that fun stuff in place. I like my hat where it is. My hat right now, for those of you who are just listening, it's like pointed upward a little bit, and like my hair, and Lindsay told me to pull it down. I'm like, no, I'm keeping it where it is.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyways, yeah, the honest truth is we just got lazy. I didn't want to have to keep setting up these lights and everything every single time. And I've also added on a few clients for like my own personal business, not related to the company I work for. And so that's also been really busy. I went to Orlando and filmed a coaching event. So that brought on even more work onto my plate that I have to edit and work on. And so it's like my weekends are filled with other work, and I don't really have a whole lot of time to, let's say, edit the podcast.
Yeah.
Or even though you're the one that does the reels and the uploading and stuff like that, I mean, just sitting down and recording this, we haven't really had much of the time for, because of the fact is like right after the holidays, that first week I went to Orlando, then I came back, and then it was
like go.
It was trying to get these edits up because he wanted to be able to post some stuff because the event was fresh, and he wanted to kind of build off of that momentum and post some things. So that next weekend I had to work, and so now we're to this weekend, and I still worked on it today, and I'm still going to be working on it tomorrow. But it was just like, we have all this equipment here at home. Let's we may as well record an episode, even if we don't do every single week going forward. Like,
I know.
We want to stay consistent with it.
I want to commit to every single week, every Monday. I really do.
And I do too. And and this is what I was telling you earlier.
It's just getting hard. It's just like, what do you say, like a 4-hour ordeal? Maybe more?
I mean, from start to finish.
Yeah, from the setup.
Probably 4 hours.
The recording, and then
making sure all the reels are
editing.
pulled.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I'd say it's probably about 4 hours. I mean, that's probably accurate.
Yeah, it's like a half day
of
work.
Which is fairly, I think it's fairly quick to be able to have a full podcast, hour and a half episode recorded, along with reels to post every single day. Like, it's a lot. It is a lot. And we were talking about how we want to stay consistent, right? And we just mentioned that. And when I was telling Lindsay, I was like, if this is something that we actually do want to stay consistent with, like, it's not going to be easy. We knew that from the beginning. But this is just a good sign to be like, hey, our life, honestly, is only going to get busier. And we're going to add on more responsibilities and things like that. And this is just a good opportunity for us to make time for this, if this is what is important for us. Like I always say, you always have time for what you put first, right? That's something my mom would always say. And we just haven't really put this first, because on Fridays evenings, we're just like, oh, man, I'm so tired. Like, I just want to like watch a movie or something.
The weekends have just been like, you working throughout the day, me taking care of Scarlett all by myself on the weekends, when normally it's both of us, so it lightens the load. But
yeah.
And so at night when we record, when Scarlett's asleep, we just want to sleep and watch a movie. So that's what's been going on. But Orson has also hired some help. So So that's gonna take some.
Speaking of, I just need to respond to him. He sent me some videos and I need to give him some more instructions, but sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so yeah, he's hired some help with all of his busy work, so hopefully we'll take some editing off of his load so we can. It's gonna be easier to get the podcast going.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it might not be every week, might be every other, but we'll try to do every week like normal, but it's just going to be a little bit more busy in this household, so.
Which is a great thing. I mean, being busy it's a blessing, and it, in a lot of ways, in the two ways that I'm thinking of is like being busy is proof that like we have work and we're taking care of ourselves and their bills and progressing in that sense, because we weren't that way a year ago. And secondly is like it's going to show us how to really manage our time to the point to where we aren't just being busy to stay busy, I guess, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't think that was the exact thought that I was having. I had two thoughts, and the second one, after I said the first one, went away, and so I tried to fill it in with what that was. But it still makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
But we're trying, right? I mean, these mics, for example, those of you that are just watching on YouTube, they're not even plugged in. We're using these lav mics I use for work, but Lindsay was like, I want to use the mics. Like, it's going to be weird talking to you without them. It's like, it doesn't matter. But see it?
So
like,
it's a prop right now.
Not even plugged in. Like, the cords are just going to nowhere. Anyways, I could, like, get this out of the way if I wanted to, but...
No, it needs to be the vibe.
I understand. We got the vibe, Linz. We got the vibe.
Thank you so much. So, one really exciting thing that happened this week is me and Orson got to go on 2 dates this weekend.
Yeah.
So amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
Like, I feel like we're starting to prioritize dates a little bit more. Not as, like, I feel like we didn't used to go on dates because, well, obviously we have a baby, and so it's hard to, like, we just want to stay here with her. It's hard to get help sometimes, which is fine.
I mean,
but
is
also,
it though?
Huh?
Like, we've gone on dates the last 2 weeks in a row. And this week we had two date nights.
Friday and Saturday night.
And I'm just like, you're saying sometimes it's hard to get help, but like we have family here that's willing to help. So, I mean,
it's hard to ask for help.
Oh, so I guess sometimes it can be.
Yeah,
but
like, you just don't want to be a bother to anybody, especially on the weekends. So, it's totally fine though. And also, like, up until like, we're kind of just now starting to be able to afford to go on dates, like to have some wiggle room for, you know what, we're not going to die if we spend $30 at Cafe Rio,
Yeah.
So that's also been super helpful. So yeah, yesterday we just went to the drive-thru. We just went to Sonic while my mom came, and she just stayed at the house while Scarlett was asleep, so she didn't have to worry about much. And then tonight was so weird. So we got a gift card to Chili's because, oh my gosh, you guys, I love Chili's. Chili's is, I know you don't feel the same, but I just love it. And I feel like people are like starting to now hop on the Chili's train because of like TikTok and all of the like the triple dipper and all of that stuff. But I've always loved Chili's, so thank you very much. People are now just starting to hop on. But anyway, so I got a gift card, a $50 gift card for Christmas. And I was like, oh, let's go on like a real date. Let's finally, like, not just the drive-thru. Like, let's go to Chili's. We go tonight, and it's dark, and there's no cars. We're like, what the heck? And then there was a sign out front saying, like, sorry, we can't take anybody right now. Like, we'll try and be up and running soon. So maybe something crucial broke in the kitchen or something, or all of their staff was, I don't know, called out sick because it's winter. I have no idea. So that was really sad that we didn't get to use the gift card, and I didn't get my Chili's. Thank goodness I wasn't like super like I was okay to eat something else, but there's some days where I'm like, if I don't eat this, I'm going to cry. And so thankfully I wasn't on that train tonight with Chili's, but if I was, I would have probably, maybe, who knows, cried.
Over Chili's.
Yeah, maybe. So instead, we just went to
One of the first
Cafe Rio.
One of the first memories I have of us dating is going to Chili's with my family up in the Salt Lake area after a wedding. And we were with my sister, my dad, and my sister, her family, and my dad, and then it was us. My sister has like 4 little kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not little anymore, but they were 6 years ago.
Yeah. And the second youngest, she orders.
How old was she? She was probably 5, maybe 6.
She was maybe 5. Anyway, she orders her kids' meal, like the mac and cheese, and then what else was there?
Fries.
The
That
fries.
was it. Mac and cheese and fries.
Mac and cheese and fries. There was no like chicken nuggets or chips.
Well, chips is like just an appetizer.
The strips is what I mean.
Oh, chicken strips. No, it was mac and cheese.
Anyways, and then so the waitress was going around the table, and then she gets to my Lindsay, and she's like, "Hey, what do you want?" And she orders the exact same thing my 5-year-old niece does. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, yeah, hey guys, this is the person I'm dating." She orders the same things as my. Anyway, it was just kind of funny, and I know
it's such a good memory. It's so funny.
I know it sounds like I'm complaining about it, but like honestly, it is kind of nice in a lot of regards because it's cheaper.
Oh yeah, kids meals are.
That is nice. It's just the only one thing I think about now is now that we have Scarlett, it's like, okay, Lindsay, I want you to eat kind of normal. Just so she has like a good example.
No, you're so right.
That's like the only thing that gets me.
I feel like I get the adult menu pretty much everywhere now. Pretty much the same thing, just like bigger portions. Like at Chili's, I don't get mac and cheese and fries off the kids menu anymore. Now I get just the adult chicken tender meal with the sides being fries and mac and cheese. So it's just like a level up a little bit, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, so we just went to Cafe Rio and then got some Yogurtland tonight, and it was so funny. We ran into my parents. My parents were also at Cafe Rio, and then Orson's old friend was there.
Yeah.
So we saw 2 people we knew at Cafe Rio, and then we went over to Yogurtland. My coworker, who I don't get to see very often, was there with her family. So we were just running into everybody tonight. But I like that. It's fun.
It was fun. It was a good surprise because if we went to Chili's, it wouldn't have been that way. It would have been the normal Chili's experience that we're used to. But this was something unexpected, and it was
true.
It's always nice to have those unexpected things happen. But let's go back to where we kind of left off from the last episode. Was there anything like New Year's?
We already talked about that.
We did?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
We talked about how we went to up north. We were sick.
And when I was in Orlando, so I guess that would be the next thing.
Yeah.
I got to go to Disney World.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you did.
But I mean, you shouldn't be that jealous because it was work for me.
I know.
Just walked around.
It's just
the only
crazy
ride
that you've been there to Disney World.
Honestly, I don't know if anyone that is listening has been to both parks, but we only went to Magic Kingdom, and the vibes were just not. They weren't there for me. Why are your eyes watering?
Oh, I yawned. Don't worry, I'm not crying.
Okay. I was like, oh my goodness. Lindsay's
really
crying.
got to me.
She's crying in the club.
No. It's because you said that you went to, Disney World, Magic Kingdom, and you said you didn't feel the vibes as much as you did with Disneyland. And I think it's because I wasn't with you. I bring the amazing, magical
I hope that's
Disney
the reason.
vibes.
If it's not, I feel bad. I'm going to feel bad if that's not the reason.
No, I bet you're just missing me.
Yeah. That was on it, but however, we ate at this fancy restaurant. It was like a 5-course meal.
Oh, so cool.
The whole shebang. It was That was really good.
Ugh.
Like, it makes me, when we go to Disneyland in May, it makes me want to think about maybe we should try to make a reservation at like one of the Disney fancy restaurants.
I don't know. They're just so expensive, and the food is always like whatever.
That food, that was some good food.
Yeah, but wasn't it like at a resort? Like it wasn't in the park.
That's true. It was at the
So,
resort.
Yeah, so that's why it's kind of like I feel like the fanciest restaurant in Disneyland is the one in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. It's called Blue Bayou. I have eaten there one time with my friends from high school for our senior trip. Shout out, you know who you are. And excuse me, why was that so funny?
I don't know, just like the way you
Because
said it.
I know they're watching.
Shout out, you know who you are. Sorry.
So yeah, we wanted to be bougie for our senior trip.
Yeah.
So we reserved the restaurant, but when we went on our senior trip, it was under a crazy renovation, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. So there was like no water, there wasn't any boats. So I feel like we didn't get the full experience because there wasn't any like boats coming in. Like we couldn't like see people like going through the ride or anything. And I remember it being good, but just my meal was like $60 or $70. And that was, I don't know, 6 years ago, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's coming up on 7 years.
It was kind
That
of,
makes me throw up. That means this summer, 8 years for you since you graduated. That means in 2 years is your 10-year high school reunion.
yeah, that's freaking weird,
That is
dude.
so weird.
That's whack.
How are we that old? That doesn't
I
make
don't
any
know.
sense.
I was telling you about this other way, but one of my childhood friends, Jacob, he sent us a photo, and we played basketball, and there was only 1 year we were on the same team, but every single year we would take the same exact photo from when we were like really young, and it was like he sent us a photos of like when we were freshmen versus when we were seniors, and he was like, dude, this was like half of our lifetimes ago.
Half of our lifetimes?
Oh, like something
Like half
like
your age or something?
well, it's like
Because if you're
the amount.
25.
This was like half of our life ago,
Yeah.
and it's like, whoa,
I
that is
know.
really weird.
I hate it so much.
It's like high school was only 4 years, and when you're in high school, it seems like the longest thing in your life.
I know.
And
Like, when you think about it, your childhood is like nothing. It's like a blimp. It's so sad. Because obviously when you're a kid and you're in it, you just like keep looking forward to like when you grow up, when you move out and everything. You don't realize how like fun it is, but like just because technically now when you get married and start having kids, when you like in your career is when you like really start your life, that your childhood just kind of doesn't even count. I feel like as like being your life.
It does.
I know, but it's just crazy.
No, I'm agreeing
how
with-
it's
I'm
so
saying it
short.
does,
Like it's
but,
a
like-
very small portion of your life.
Yeah.
Your life is mostly like, I don't know.
When I say it does, I mean it
30s
doesn't.
to
I'm
50s.
agreeing with what you're saying, not
Oh.
saying it does matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird to think about because like you see these kids in high school and stuff nowadays, and you're like, man, thinking about when you were back in high school, and the mindset and just like your problems and your worries seem so massive,
Yes.
and it's just interesting how I'm sure it's the same thing for every different age level, like a new type of perspective or
Right.
outlook on the world, and I'm sure that continues to evolve as you get older. That makes a lot of sense that it would, but
true.
like high schooler nowadays are just like the most annoying little people ever.
Little people.
I'm just like,
I was so annoying. I know.
what was it that we were talking about that I was telling you that I did recently, and you're like, you did that? Oh
You
yeah, we were at
said-
Sonic.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But
do
you
want me to
said
tell
you
this?
weren't in high school though.
I think it might have been like it was before I had my license.
Okay.
So I guess we could have been in high school, but I had a friend. His name was Spencer, and we took two of the bikes that we had at my house, and we pretty much rode around all of Flagstaff. And on that journey, we stopped at Sonic, and like two annoying little kids we ordered a ton of food from the Sonic drive-through kiosk booth, whatever you want to call it.
So dumb.
And then we left. And that was it.
But you didn't pay, right?
No, we didn't pay for anything.
Okay, so they probably didn't start making your food.
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because, like, the transaction wasn't, like, done. Because that would have been horrible if they had to, like, make all this food and bring it out to an empty, like, spot at Sonic.
That would have just been a waste of our money.
You didn't pay anything.
Yeah. Anyways, I think at the time we were like, hee, they were making all this food and we didn't. But really, it was just like.
Oh my gosh. No, we were just, especially me, I was just really loud and obnoxious.
Yeah, you were talking about just like
center
how
of
mean
attention.
you were.
Yeah, I was really mean.
Oh.
But I was mostly mean when I was younger. Honestly, I feel like I chilled out in high school, even though I was not even chill in high school. But I was mostly like really an angry, very sassy, mean girl when I was like probably 5th grade to maybe like 8th or 9th grade. So yeah, that was me.
Makes me a little scared to see what Scarlett's gonna be like, because if
She's gonna be the sweetest. I just know it because I was really crazy when I was her age, and she is perfection angel. So probably more. She's gonna be more like you.
it's just funny because like all of my sisters, like their kids when they were their age, like the girls, it's like always, oh my gosh, you were just like this at their age, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is what my parents have always said.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, because that's the pattern that I've always seen, and like hearing what you were like, I'm like, oh dear.
I'm sure one of them is gonna be like me, but right now I really think she's more like you, like 100%. Not even a question, because she's an angel baby.
She even has my eyelashes.
You mean your eyebrows?
Eyebrows.
Okay, what were you saying? You were trying to explain it to me. I was like, what do you mean she has
Like
your
my
eyebrows?
my left eyebrow. We're talking about eyebrows right now. What the heck?
Like, what do you mean?
Anyways, so like on my left eyebrow near the corner of my eye and where my nose is,
Okay.
it kind of goes upwards a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like there's a few hairs right at the end of my eyebrow that go in a different direction. And I saw that she had like that same little thing on her left eyebrow.
I wonder if that's from you or if that was just how her eyebrows
But
were.
it's the same thing that I have on my eyebrow. Why would it not be from me?
No. Because that's so random.
I think you're just jealous.
Okay.
That's.
She has my eyes.
She has pretty much everything of you, so let me have this.
Oh, so true. Can we talk about, no, it's kind of old news. I was going to talk about, like, the TikTok ban, but it's been, like, weeks at this point.
Well, I mean, we can briefly mention it just because of how you were with it. You were, like, weirdly upset.
Was I?
Yeah, you seemed like...
I was really sad. So, okay, you guys.
It's just an app.
TikTok. Okay, let's talk about it.
You're addicted.
Stop.
Say addicted after every word I say.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. You can't think of it. Thank you. So
Oh my gosh.
I didn't necessarily refuse to download TikTok. I remember in the beginning, like 2020, when it was just cringy dances, I was like, why would I download that? That is so cringe. And everyone was saying that it was Musical.ly, just branded differently, and I was like, no thanks. But then after obviously a couple years, like everybody was on it and talking about how much they love TikTok, but I still was like, I don't really need another app. I have YouTube, I have Instagram, I have Twitter, I still use all the time, Be Real. Like, I had a lot of stuff already that I was like, I don't feel like the need. But when we started this podcast, I believe in August of last year, I was like, okay, so I'm going to obviously be posting, like, Reels from it, but also TikToks, because that's just what you do. And so my So the only the only TikTok account I have is Practically Imperfect Pod. So that's what I like scroll on is the podcast TikTok, and it's all my algorithm. My For You page is so beautiful. It's so funny. I love it so much that yeah, I would say it's definitely my favorite app. It's just so good. But I haven't even had it for that long. And so when it was going away, I was like genuinely so sad. Like, wow, I didn't even like get to enjoy it for that long. And who knows how long it's going to be banned for. I was going through it. I was really sad. I was like, no, what am I supposed to do now?
That's sad.
I know, but it's the truth. And it's the truth for a lot of people.
I know.
But, I mean, come on. I know you don't use TikTok like that, but how many funny TikToks do I show you? And, like, the mom content I find, it's just very me.
There's a lot of good stuff on there. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Thanks.
I'm just more like...
It's so funny.
Like, my perspective on it was like, oh, it's just an app. Like, another one will come, and...
That's true. That's
like,
true.
I don't know, I didn't really care that much. I mean, I do scroll every now and then, but I find myself on those platforms mostly for work purposes.
Yeah.
So, it's just a different mindset, I suppose, but...
Yeah. But I really liked it, but joke's on everyone else because it was only down for 14 hours.
That's it?
Yeah. And did you know that there was so many TikTokers, which I have no idea why, but it was a trend. And some were clearly fake, but some were, I don't think they were like confessing like what they had lied about with their content.
Oh, wow.
So the sound was, it was from like Family Guy, it was like, oh, since we're all gonna die, I feel like I should say something. I didn't care for The Godfather. So that was like Family Guy's confession or whatever. So everyone was saying, oh, since we're all gonna die, all my workouts were fake. Like, I never did any of my runs, any of my workouts for, like, workout content. Or the mukbangers, I never finished the food. I would cut and never really eat it. Like, so many people were, like, saying that. And it's just like, why would you do that? Like, were you not going to try and, like, go to another app?
Interesting.
I know.
I never saw any of those videos, but what I
saw so many of those. But some were, like, clearly fake.
The things that I'm saying are just Mr. Beast talking about how he's buying TikTok.
Oh my gosh.
Is that it? Do you know anything about that?
I do. I think he is gonna buy it.
Cool.
Because that's what they want. But I think if he does, I think the app will change so much.
I don't think he wants to change it that much.
I don't know. You never know.
I think it's like from what I understood, I guess just from what you've told me, it's more so the fact that there's a China CEO or something like that.
Yes, I think they just want an American CEO. That's what I think.
Makes sense to have it be Mr. Beast, I suppose.
I guess.
Good old Jimmy Donald.
He's not a billionaire, is he?
I'm sure he's worth up there.
Because I'm just like, don't you have to be like a billionaire to like do that?
Well, I don't know if...
To just like buy out...
I think he met with the other billionaires to help get the money, and then he will just be the one that essentially does...
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I want that.
Why?
Just because what if he turns it into a weird, I don't know, I'm just scared of him. He's weird.
I don't think he wants to turn it into anything. I think he just wants us to all be able to have access to it.
Yeah, we'll see. It's just so crazy to me. The conspiracies of it, it's just like, because Trump wanted to get it banned in the first place, but then he realized that TikTok probably helped him win the elections, and now he's like, oh, I'm going to save the day. It's just so crazy how it all happened. Anyway, so that's one thing that happened while we were gone.
Yeah.
What else? What else shall I talk about? I don't even know.
And it's been this long, we can't even figure out what to talk about when we were coming up with topics every single week.
Oh my gosh, we were going to do like a Q&A. But
no one answered.
No one answered. No one wanted to ask us questions. That's really rude. So I was like, okay, should I just come up with our own questions that we haven't answered yet?
Well, I guess you could go with this one. Like, what This is the first one that comes to my head.
Okay.
What in your head makes a good relationship?
Okay. That is a great question, and now I'm going to go on a really long rant because I know exactly what I'm going to say. Because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And again, TikTok, a lot of TikToks have been coming up where it's kind of like, girlies, why are you staying with your man? He doesn't even like you. You know? Like, okay, so this is what I'm going to say. I think the most important thing in a relationship is recognizing, like, that I feel love and cared for from my partner. He actually likes me and he cares about me. And there's certain things that some girls on TikTok will complain about or talk about their men. And I'm just like, girl, he doesn't even like you. Get out of that relationship. Or they talk about their ex-husbands and what they did and why they left because
Talk about
my
the
husband
walking
didn't
one.
even-
Remember
The
that?
walking one. Yes, exactly. So this girl was sharing her story. And she was saying, the reason why I divorced my husband because I just realized one day, like an epiphany, like he doesn't even like me. He doesn't even care about me. And did you know the statistic is more women divorce men? I think, I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but it's like way more women file for divorce than men because women are sick of their men. And it's because I don't know. So this girl, she was on TikTok and she was saying that her man always walked in front of her, always, which seems like not that big of a deal. You could get over, right? Like he just walks fast, whatever. I feel like this happens with you and me too because I'm very short and
You're
I was-
walking faster than me a lot of the time, and I'm like, hey, slow down.
well, just on our walks, but like around the neighborhood. But I feel like if we're like out, you'll definitely walk faster than me. And I have to be like, wait for me. But anyway, I was going to say.
Wait for me.
I was going to say, I'm very short and you're very tall, but you're just averagely tall. You're 6'1", but I'm very short. I'm 4'11". So we automatically obviously have like different paces because your legs are so long. But anyway, this girl, she was saying how her husband always walked in front of her. And she would always say, hey, like, can you wait for me, please, so I'm not just running after you? But the thing is he didn't take that and listen. He just said, no, you just need to keep up with me. You need to walk faster. So much so that he bought her shoes that she didn't ask for that were like specifically for like how to walk faster just so she can keep up with him. Very narcissistic energy, like, hello? Like, why don't you just, like, huh? And she said that the last and final straw was they were on vacation to a new place, so she was walking slower than normal because she's never been here before. She wanted to like look at everything, and he just zoomed. And she had told him, she was like, "Hey, wait, I want to like slow down. I want to look at everything." And he was like, "Nope, you got to keep up." And she was walking just slower and slower until she finally just stopped and watched him, and he just never turned around to see if she was right there behind until he was way ahead, and then he finally looked past and realized that she was way far away. And it's just kind of like, I know it's something so small, but also so big to where it's like he doesn't even care. Like, I don't know. It just makes me sad that little things are little things, but people don't really, I feel like, look in and be like, that's actually a big thing. Like, I'm trying to think about with us, if you do something little that I talk to you about that you obviously fix, that I would be like, if Orson doesn't fix this, I think I'd, like, be done. I'm trying to think. There must be something about you that I don't like. Ooh, my earring. Oh, no. Okay, well, the earrings are coming off, I guess. Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a specific example with you because you're actually kind and considerate of my feelings and you know what's normal and what's not normal. But, okay, here's an example. You don't do this, but if you did, it would, like, piss me off.
Okay.
Actually, okay, I can think of one thing.
If I don't fix this, that you're going to divorce me?
No, it was just a thought where I was like,
I did not anticipate this
he doesn't
conversation.
even care. So
Not
your parents
okay.
came into town and you chose to cook a meal that you knew I didn't like. So I was like, okay, rude. What am I going to eat?
Okay.
That was a thing.
I do that every single night.
Yeah, but your
I make my
parents.
meals that you never eat. You never eat what I eat.
But you could have, since guests were coming over, you could have been like, oh, let me pick something that everyone would eat. Guys, he chose lettuce wraps. Do you think I'm going to eat a lettuce wrap? No,
Most people would eat a lettuce wrap
not me.
because they're normal, and even
You
if
should
they
have
don't
chosen
like,
spaghetti or
and
something.
even if they don't like it, they would just eat it to be polite.
That's true.
That's the normal human, Lindsay.
That's true.
So,
But anyway, so to answer, very long-winded answer, clearly. But to answer your question, I think it is the most important that you feel cared for. Because little things add up years and years. Also, not to suffer in silence. Like, I can't even imagine, like, if that woman, like, if it bothered her so much, what if she never said, like, hey, can you slow down? Or if she did and her husband said, nope, you got to keep up. That she just was, like, running to be, to keep with him.
yeah.
And she just never spoke up. So I saw another, see, TikTok, it's just so much information. I saw another TikTok where she was saying how she thinks the best relationships are a very strong and dominant woman, and not like a passive man, but a man who is sweet and doesn't have a big manly, like, toxic masculine personality. She feels like she was like, I feel like all of the successful relationships that I'm around is a really, like, strong woman and not a shy, keep things to herself woman, because then she'll just get walked all over. And then she'll get fed up 10 years down the line, you know? And I feel like that's very our dynamic, is that you just listen, and you're so sweet, and you don't let your own ego or narcissistic, like, manly tendencies just, like, get in the way of what we have, you know?
I mean, the only reason why I asked this question in the first place because I was thinking about our therapy session that we had, and where he, like, the majority of our, I guess you could say, arguments come from the difference of how you and I view the world. And a part of that comes from the way we were raised and so on and so forth, and just our life experiences. But that's where a lot of our miscommunication or disagreements come from.
Yeah.
And one thing that he helped us remind us of is how much of a blessing that actually is, and how it's more important for us to really just figure out how to harness those differences and learn to speak to each other's strengths, in a sense. And he used the example of, like, and that he used this example. I'm sure he was conscious of this example because he knew it would resonate with someone like me, especially. But how, like, some of the most successful companies in the world, they surround them, like, the leaders or the CEO or the visionaries of the business surround themselves with people that think differently than they do, on purpose. Because if they had someone that was the same, thought the same, looked at the world the same, then it would be a lot harder to find the good ideas. Whereas if you progress and grow and have someone on the other side that's kind of pushing you and be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when that happens, then me, for example, we look at the situation and be like, okay, is there really somewhere where this can be better or improved? Or, anyways, it helps with the growth aspect of it. And he compared our relationship to that example of how when you kind of push back on things, that's a good thing. And I'm more the visionary of where it is that we're trying to go. and then you're also the one that kind of bring me back home and be like, hey,
Back
is
to
this
earth.
is this really going to, like, what's the plan here? How are we actually going to make this happen? And then
Yeah.
from there, it needs to be my responsibility to say, okay, hey, here's the immediate steps that we're going to be taking. And one thing that we talked about too in that therapy session is how I'm also somebody that is much more of like, I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but I know it is.
Oh, I hate that so
And-
much.
And that's when I need to be able to say, that's when you need to be able to say, come to me and say, hey, what steps are we taking right now to make this, like, how is this actually going to work? And then I need to have
Yes.
some sort of plan, right?
Yeah.
Step by step plan of what we're doing this month and for the coming year, for example, of how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's also really important too, because one thing I'm really trying to be better about is planning out my week and my months and my years. And if I'm supposed to be the visionary and then you're the person that's kind of making sure we have the right path to get there, then that'll make it a lot easier for us to plan in our dreams and our goals that we want to see happen, because
Yeah.
you're forcing me to look at it in such a perspective of, hey, is this really going to work? And I asked that question, like, what do you think makes a good relationship? Because I was thinking of like, well, for a while, both of us were just like, oh my gosh, we just view the world in separate ways. And I think there's to a degree, you and I were probably maybe, me more so, I would say, but trying to get each other to look through our lens of how we viewed the world.
Yeah, definitely more you.
That's why I said that.
Well, I feel like you are being very broad, and I feel like you need to be like more specific. So I
Okay.
would consider myself like type A, as far as like the organizing, the planning, like if I had, and I'm also a control freak as well, because it's not like Orson can't. Like if Orson wanted to plan a trip, I'm sure he could like get it all done. But I am just such a control freak. I'm like, no, I bet I can find something better, more efficiently. I don't know. So I'm definitely more of like the planning of it. And Orson is just kind of like the end goal, which that's why it's like a little frustrating, because I'm like, well, how are you going to do that? And he can't tell me how. So I'm like, well, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And Orson would kind of, you wouldn't like brush me off or whatever, but you weren't taking steps to kind of be like, okay, how do I get to where I want to be? You know, you would just like think of the end result. And so
mean,
that's what Orson was trying to say.
To a degree, I think I was thinking of the steps that it would take for me to get somewhere
Yes.
and the way that makes sense to me. So I had like a plan laid out, but it wasn't a plan that works for you in your brain.
Okay. Our therapist called us like the dream team, which I thought was so sweet of him.
Right. And
because we think and view things so differently that when we combine them, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. And I think if we like lean into our differences and understand each other, because honestly, since this therapist have been able to vocalize that neither of us are wrong in any way, shape, or form. We just think of it differently. And if we just talk it out, combine the two how the best we can, then, you know, our plans in life are like unstoppable. We can take on the world, you know? And I just think it's really awesome that we can talk about it, and we're very intentional with how each other view the world, and it's not such a frustrating situation of you just being here and I'm here, you know, because we know how to combine it now.
yeah, I mean, to a degree, I think we still have a lot to learn. But like when you were talking about that, like one thing I thought about is like I was thinking about how there's probably a lot of couples out there that are in a situation to where they feel like they just can't get through to their spouse, or
Yeah.
they just feel like I just like don't know how to talk to, like it's just we're on two different pages, and that
Different planets, it seems.
Yeah.
And that's how we felt.
a lot of the time, yeah. And looking at it from the point of view of like, wow, this is actually a good thing, because me looking at it this way and him looking at it this way, if we can just combine where we're trying to go, having these two different perspectives will really help get us to where it is that we're needing to be. Because like some of those most successful companies, they can't get as big as they are without opposing thoughts and without growing. And those two different perspectives can really propel the growth a lot faster than if you were both looking at it through the same lens. And
so that's your long answer.
But I was thinking of a more specific example of something that's kind of been difficult for me in the past, I guess, and something that I've kind of had to let go of too, and lets you go on your own journey and experience your own growth and how your growth looks for you in your life. Like, for example, anyone that knows me, knows that I enjoy reading a lot of like self-help books and motivational stuff and business and entrepreneurship and like that whole world. Like I try to really work on myself. I work out a lot and I'm trying to eat better.
Very intentional of what your day looks like and how you act. Yeah.
And you're very not like that at all. You don't read books. You don't work out. You don't do any of those things, and that sometimes it's still a little bit difficult for me, because part of me is like, well, like work on where we're trying to go. I know to some degree you have to be able to work on yourself enough so you can handle the problems that are thrown at us. Because the more wealthy we get, the wealthier you get, you just solve bigger problems. That's why you make more money.
Well, I would come at you and say, or not come at you, but I would say to that is, your definition of work on yourself is what? Working out?
I'm not saying that's, well,
like,
let me finish.
I just feel like it's very like, okay, but what if that's just your way and not mine?
Let me finish.
Okay.
That's my point though, is like sometimes you have to also let go of, like, if you truly love the person that you're with, trying to get them to grow as quickly as you are, or
the same exact way as you are.
Yeah. That's going to not really be beneficial because they are not you. And if they were you, you probably wouldn't have married them in the first place.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people marry their opposite.
And chances are, if you just be the best example you can be, and you both grow together in your own respective elements or your own ways, they'll most likely start to kind of come around to the way that you're maybe viewing it, but in their own way. Because I feel like, as far as like the biggest thing that I've really tried to focus on in our relationship is, because I know that I want, like I've always said, like, oh, I wish you would eat a little bit healthier, I wish you would work out, or I wish you would do some of these things. And I think you're starting to kind of understand, or you understand a little bit more as to why I feel like it's so important for myself. And now that we have Scarlett, it's giving you a little bit more of a perspective. And you're starting to kind of come around to some of those ideas. Like, for example, we talk about buying a Peloton.
Yeah.
And like, that's something that you think you'd be really excited about.
Oh, love a Peloton.
And that's
so
like,
good.
Yeah, and that's like one little example of like, if you just give them the space to live their own life and grow at the pace that they're meant to grow at, chances are they're going to start finding things that are great, and they will find the things that will grow them. And as they start to find those things, it's going to make you a lot happier, because really, I'm not wanting you to read or work out or do all those different things. I just want you to value yourself enough to take care of yourself, however that looks.
Yeah.
And now that we're going to therapy and been doing this for a while, and we have a child, I think it's it's fun to have been able to kind of watch you learn and grow in your own way, in your own lane, versus me trying to force you into my lane and grow with me.
It's crazy how things change after having a child, at least for me. Just like everything. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before. We might have. But I'll just bring it up again, I guess. But now that I'm like starting to like think about her and how to raise her and how we want to be as parents for her, you think a lot more. And it's kind of weird to even say that, but before I had her, I didn't really think too much about anything really. I would just wake up, go to work, do my thing, come back home. Like I didn't think ahead too much.
You're stuck in the rat race.
Sure, if that's what you want to say. But since having her, you look in the future more, you think more. And so it probably also has to do with that. I turned 25 as well. And people say like, once you turn 25, like, oh my gosh, things really change. And I think that's so true for me because your frontal lobe is developed. Your brain is fully developed.
I mean, is it really fully developed?
That's what they say.
I think there's still...
No, that's what they say.
Who's they?
I don't know, the world.
Okay.
That at 25, your brain is fully developed. That's what they say. Where was I even going with this?
Sorry.
See, you ruined it.
Your brain is fully developed.
And I think a lot.
Yes, you're thinking a lot more. Having a child changes you.
Yes, and I don't know. You ruined everything, so thanks for that.
It must have not been important. Otherwise, you would.
Oh my God.
Otherwise, you would have remembered it.
Maybe.
It'll come back to you.
What time is it? Let's do... Oh, it's 11:30. Are you kidding me? I wanted to do, like, one more question because, oh, my gosh, those answers were long-winded to the max, but I don't even know anymore. It's already 11:30. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
We can answer a short one. Okay, are you ready for this?
Or we just want to put a bookend onto this question?
No. I don't like this question anymore because I couldn't finish my thought because you interrupted me and I don't know where I was going with it, so I want to move on.
It's always my fault.
Always.
Okay, well, what's the next question then?
Did we wait until marriage? Just kidding, we're not answering that.
Okay, what's the next question? I feel like our lack of answering that question is saying, I don't know. Anyways, but keep.
Who cares? I had one and then you ruined it again.
Oh my gosh, just be better at remembering things.
It was about... Oh, how many more kids are we going to have?
I have no idea.
I have an idea. I think I'm having one more. Genuinely, I think I like... It's getting more apparent every single day that I think I'm having one more kid.
Wow.
I know that makes you sad, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it makes me. I don't know how it makes me feel. There's part of me that's like, and I've told you this before. There's a part of me that can see us having a lot of kids, like 6.
I don't know why you say that because I've never in my life said I wanted a lot of kids.
Me neither. I'm just thinking about like the time, like.
It's because you love Scarlett so much that you want millions of her.
I mean, maybe, but I'm just thinking of like the kind of life that I want to be able to teach my kids, like the kind of life that I'm teaching myself how to live, and the foundation that we're building, I think is going to be really valuable, and it's something that we're going to eventually teach a lot of other people how to do for themselves in their own life. And I can see us bringing more kids into our life because of what we've learned is so important. We want them to be able to learn it for themselves and help spread good amongst the world.
That sounded so hippie. we just need so many kids and spread joy to the world. It was so hippie. I was so hippie. I can't. No, how nice does a family of 4 sound? 2 kids. Once they're both moved out, we're done. We're by ourselves again. Like,
it doesn't sound too bad.
like that sounds so nice.
I mean, right now, just because we're tired and we're just like, bruh.
I think, realistically, I think that if Scarlett and this new baby will have, which I'm going to say will be born next year. I think we'll get pregnant this year sometime, and then 2026. So
it's crazy.
I know.
But I want a boy. If it's not a boy, I'm going to be kind of sad.
I'm going to be so happy if it's not a boy.
What?
To have 2 girls?
I mean, I'm not
2 sisters? That's so cute.
Having a boy and I want my name to go on.
You have so many uncles and cousins with the last name.
But not from my family.
That's true. You don't have any brothers.
I'm the only
Well, maybe
boy.
our next one will be a boy. Who knows?
Yeah, I want to be able to have that father-son relationship. I want to be able to wrestle with them and
okay, let's say we
show them
have
how
2
to play
girls
sports.
and the third one's a girl. I'm not gonna keep going. I'm sorry to burst your bubble.
We'll see when we get there.
But as I was saying, I could realistically only see myself having more than 2. So let's say we have our next one in 2026. Let's see, 2026, 2027, 2029. Maybe by 2029. So like when the baby would be 3 years old. Mm-hmm. And that means Scarlett would be like 5 already in kindergarten. Then I could maybe see myself, okay, they're a little bit older. They should be sleeping just fine. That we can add another one. But I could also see myself being like, our youngest is already 3. Like, let's not go back to being tired zombies again, you know? So it's so hard. But I just keep picturing, like, for this whole month, I've just kept thinking, like, I think I might just have one more. Just because if I do have only one more, I really want to soak in the pregnancy and the newborn, because after Scarlett, I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, she already knows how to smile. She already knows how to laugh and roll over. But that's okay. We're going to have more kids because obviously it's exciting when she hits a milestone, but also sad, like, oh, she already knows how to do that. But I just kept saying, oh, we'll have more kids so we can do this more than once. Is that Stella that I hear? What is that?
Is she awake?
No.
Maybe it's another house or something.
Sounds like a growl. Is there a bear in our house? Okay, anyway, sorry. I soak in all of the things. So if I only have one more, then I really need to cherish, like, oh, my baby knows how to smile now. Okay, that's the last time I'm going to get the first of, oh my gosh, she smiled. See, I'm saying she because I think it's going to be a girl. You know what I mean? So I want to, like, with my, I want my last one to be intentional so I could really soak it in, like, this is the last time. But the thing is, I think after 2, I'm just going to have to reevaluate. So I don't know if I'll, like, get that if I decide to be done at 2, you know? So crazy. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We're tired.
Yes, we are.
And we will be better at doing this podcast and get back into it. And thank you for listening.
I forgot how hot it is in here with all these lights.
I did not forget. I knew this outfit was going to have me sweating buckets.
Why did you change? You were wearing like more comfy clothes and then you changed.
Because I wanted to wear something not pajamas. I had pajamas on.
You look cute, so.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
How cute.
Like, a million bajillion times cuter than anything I've ever seen in the entire world.
Ha, that was a
Except for
trick question.
Scarlet.
I was just about to say, no, Scarlett's the most magical, beautiful baby. But you already caught me before I said it, so you win the question. High five. Thanks. All right, love you, babe.
Love you too.
Thank you, guys.
Okay,
See you
love
guys
you.
in the next one. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.